Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said?
What material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people in the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Joe Rogan, along with Terrence Howard and Katt Williams, just went off, reacting to some wild files recently linked to Diddy. And guess what? Even Elon Musk is chiming in, sending cryptic warnings to the white celebs caught up in this tangled mess, many of whom seem to be scrambling to leave the country. But before we dive in, let's make one thing clear. Everything we're about to cover is based on speculation, internet chatter, and what sources close to the situation are claiming. I'm simply reporting what's being said, so don't shoot the messenger. Now, fresh reports from the prison where Diddy's currently being held suggest he may be ready to flip if it means saving himself. According to Rogan, Terrence, and Katt, there are some big-name celebrities who could be exposed if Diddy decides to talk. And one name no one expected to hear was Uncle Steve Harvey. Word online is that as soon as Steve got wind of Diddy's legal trouble, he jumped on the first flight out of the country. But it wasn't just a quick exit. He scrubbed his social media of anything connected to Diddy. Even a 2017 tweet praising him for doing good for the kids is now gone, not aging well in light of recent events. And this runs deeper. Back in the day, Steve looked unbothered, jet-setting in Italy with Diddy and his stepdaughter, Lori Harvey. Yep, Lori was dating Diddy back then, after dumping his son Justin. Messy, to say the least. But what really raised eyebrows was a photo of Lori wearing white nail polish. Seems harmless, right? Not in this case. If you've been following the Diddy investigation, you know how disturbing that detail is. In Cassie's lawsuit, she revealed that Diddy allegedly made all the women around him wear white nails, for contrast during his so-called freak-offs, which were reportedly filmed for his own twisted collection. Even more unsettling, Young Miami and Diddy's own mother were seen with the same white nails. Now people are wondering, did Steve Harvey really have no idea? Or was he getting close to Diddy for strategic reasons, Hollywood connections, power moves? Because at the time, Diddy was a billionaire and the CEO of Revolt TV. That's why folks are saying if Diddy talks, we might finally learn the real reason Steve Harvey disappeared so fast. And let's not forget Meek Mill. Since Diddy's arrest, Meek has been unusually quiet. And considering their past, it's strange. Remember that clip of Meek in the pool with Diddy calling him daddy and saying he loved him? Yeah, that moment has not aged well at all.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Now, when Diddy's case hit its peak and lawsuits started naming names, guess who vanished? Meek Mill. Just disappeared. It's worth noting that Lil Rod, who also filed a lawsuit against Diddy, made some pretty explosive claims, saying Diddy was bending Meek and offering him deals in return. Yeah, it got that serious. As soon as all of this started surfacing, Meek jetted off to Africa. And instead of addressing anything directly, he was dropping cryptic tweets. One even offered $100,000 to anyone who could help him figure out who was trying to tie him to Diddy. But the internet isn't buying the act. Many believe Meek is just doing damage control, especially with rumors floating that he might have been caught on video the feds are now reviewing. If that's true, it's only a matter of time before it all comes out in court. Meanwhile, Meek's been acting like he's clueless. But let's be real, that front isn't fooling anyone, and it doesn't stop there. Usher's name is surfacing too, and he's reportedly been in full panic mode. His connection to Diddy goes way back. When Usher was just 13 years old, he was part of what was known as Diddy's flavor camp. Now people are starting to question what really happened during those early years. And remember Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal? He made some chilling claims too, saying that Diddy once sent Usher to the hospital, bleeding, from you-know-where. It's dark, disturbing, and raising even more questions about who else might be implicated before this is all said and done.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear it?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, yo, man, I don't F with them, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the, and that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear it, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, you know, that's just something that I heard.
And just when you thought that was enough, there's that old Kevin Hart interview with Diddy. In it, Diddy's joking about waking up in bed with Usher when they were younger. At the time, folks laughed it off. But now, with all this coming to light, nobody's laughing. If Usher got wrapped up in any of that, he better get his legal team on speed dial.
It's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
Then there's Jay-Z. He and Diddy have been close for years. Business partners, elite parties, the whole nine. But things get murky when you bring up a woman named Kathy White. Word on the street is that she was Jay-Z's mistress, and that she allegedly passed away after becoming pregnant with his child. For years, it was just a quiet rumor, whispers in the background. But now, people are saying Diddy might know more than he's ever let on. Maybe even has tapes. And that's not the only scandal with Jay's name on it. Just a few months back, a lawsuit came to light. An unnamed woman accused both Jay-Z and Diddy of sexual assault, claiming the incident happened after the 2000 VMAs at a private, high-profile party in a New York City residence. But when it hit the courtroom, the story started to fall apart. The woman said her father picked her up after the alleged assault. But when he took the stand, he couldn't recall anything like that happening. She also claimed she spoke to Benji Madden at that same party, only for Madden to confirm he wasn't even in New York at the time. Too many inconsistencies, not enough evidence. The judge had no choice but to dismiss the case. Still, the rumors didn't die. If anything, they caught fire. That's when Jaguar Wright entered the chat, coming in hard. She didn't hold back, straight up calling Jay-Z the devil. Her words, not mine. And now people are asking, if Diddy really has footage or dirt that ties Jay-Z to what went down at those infamous freak-offs, then this might not just be a scandal. It could be the end of the road.
I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim Porter?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
And who could forget that awkward birthday video? You know the one? Diddy, all smiles, serenading French Montana. Both of them glistening, completely covered in baby oil. Yeah, that clip didn't age well either. Now, with everything coming to light, it's less funny and more concerning.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
It's a special birthday for both of us.
Yeah.
Now that we know the feds reportedly found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil in Diddy's house, yeah, that birthday video with French Montana hits very different now. But it doesn't end there. Jennifer Lopez has also been pulled back into the spotlight. This time, over that infamous club shooting involving rapper Shine. According to long-standing whispers, and now resurfacing claims, J-Lo allegedly knew exactly what went down that night. Some sources even say she was the one carrying the weapon in her purse, and later lied about it under oath to the grand jury. If that's true, and the feds are digging back into those old files, this story's about to get a lot deeper, and a lot messier.
The irony is, there was a grand jury, we all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in, and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened.
That's exactly what Nada Rubin, one of the women injured during that infamous club shooting, has been saying. She's been fighting to have the case reopened, even offering to have bullet fragments surgically removed from her face, just to prove that Jennifer Lopez has been lying for years. According to her, both Diddy and J-Lo need to be held accountable. And if this case does get reopened, J-Lo could finally be facing consequences that have been dodged for over 2 decades. But here's where the story takes another turn. Whistleblowers like Katt Williams and Terrence Howard are now calling out white celebrities too. Those who've suddenly gone quiet, vanished from the spotlight, or started acting like ghosts. And with Diddy allegedly ready to talk, it's not just Black Hollywood that might be shaking. The whole industry could be in for a reckoning.
Do all those things. When you give up those things, like when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Even Elon Musk couldn't stay out of this one. He reposted a tweet that called out Ellen DeGeneres, right after she suddenly left the country when the Diddy situation exploded into the public eye. And if you've been watching closely, Ellen's not just laying low. She's gone. New photos popped up showing her at a quiet little pub in England, sporting a brand new look. New hair, new energy, a completely different vibe. And when asked about the move, she claimed it was just to escape what's happening in America. But the internet's not buying that. People think she's running. And the timing? Suspicious. See, Ellen and Diddy go way back. He was a regular on her show, laughing, joking, even sharing stories about their wild nights. They had chemistry, history. And now, people are wondering if she knows more than she's letting on.
Yeah, no, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seen to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
That's a different type of party.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
Back in 2016, Ellen tweeted Diddy, "Happy birthday, Cuddle McNuggle stuff," and added, "Y'all don't need to know why." Well now, people really want to know why, because that tweet, along with everything else, is taking on a whole new meaning, especially when you consider Ellen's behind-the-scenes reputation. Former staff have accused her of running one of the most toxic sets in Hollywood. The smiles on camera, totally different from what insiders described off-camera. Now, rumors are swirling that 2 of Ellen's former romantic partners died under mysterious circumstances. And people are starting to connect the dots, suggesting Diddy may have helped cover something up. The pressure ramped up fast. As soon as Joe Rogan laid it all out, Katt Williams stepped in, and he did not hold back. For years, people treated Katt like he was just ranting, saying too much. But now, it's starting to look like he saw the signs long before anyone else did. Now, it's not just about Diddy. The entire industry is under the spotlight. Doesn't matter your background. If you were moving shady behind the scenes, people are coming for answers. And yes, even Leonardo DiCaprio made the list. Soon as these stories started surfacing, Leo caught a flight straight to Italy. He claimed it was just a vacation with his new girlfriend. But the timing? Way too convenient. especially since old photos just resurfaced, shots from Diddy's East Hampton mansion back in 1998, with Leo in the background, just casually chilling. And now, people are asking what really went down at those infamous parties.
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public. And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Now people are starting to ask, just how deep did the connection between Diddy and Leonardo DiCaprio really go? Word is, back in the 2000s, Diddy and Leo were tight. So tight, in fact, that Diddy once called Leo his #1 invite to the infamous white parties. Who's the #1 person on that list? Leonardo DiCaprio. And I can get on that list, right? Without a doubt, you're invited.
Who's the person that's #1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
yes,
right?
Without a doubt, you are invited.
Yeah, it was that close. But now, Leo's team is in full damage control, claiming the two haven't spoken in years. And that shift is raising eyebrows. Then there's Ashton Kutcher, another name that's suddenly moving different. His MTV era ties to Diddy go way back. They even ran the New York Marathon together. Ashton was front and center at the 2009 White Party too. And then there's that awkward moment on Hot Ones when the topic of Diddy's parties came up. Ashton got visibly uncomfortable, smiled nervously, and said he had stories, but couldn't share. Now, with everything coming to light, people are wondering if there was a reason he stayed quiet. Because it's starting to look like those wild party rumors might not have just been rumors after all.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
According to In Touch, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are reportedly planning to leave Hollywood for good, setting their sights on a quiet life in Europe. Publicly, it's about stepping away from the spotlight. But online, people are calling it what it really looks like, stepping out of the blast zone before Diddy's trial explodes and the fallout hits hard. And just when things were already heating up, Terrence Howard dropped a bombshell that threw gas on the fire. In a recent interview on the PBD podcast, Terrence didn't mince words. No cryptic messages, no vague warnings. He laid it all out, raw. According to Terrence, Diddy approached him under the guise of a business deal. At first, it looked like an offer to help his acting career. Then came music studio visits. But it wasn't about creativity, it was about getting close, and it wasn't just a feeling. Terrence's own assistant eventually pulled him aside and set it straight. He wants to smash. As soon as Terrence heard that, he cut all ties. No hesitation. He ghosted, slammed the doors shut, and never looked back. Now, with these stories surfacing left and right, and Diddy reportedly on the edge of flipping, it feels like the whole industry is bracing for impact. Because this might just be the tip of the iceberg.
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. He's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay, so then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to
Come on now, dog.
That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Come on, man.
Now I get it.
But Terrence didn't stop with just Diddy. He made it clear, Diddy wasn't the only one. According to him, other producers were pulling the same exact moves. This wasn't an isolated incident. It was a pattern, one that's been hiding in plain sight. When a man walks into the room, he's treated differently, Terrence said. And when you push back on those shady vibes, you don't get invited back. Simple as that. What he described wasn't just uncomfortable, it was systemic. And now, with more names surfacing and more stories unraveling, the question isn't if more will come forward, it's when.
So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers coming to make the approach, and you punched them in the mouth. knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're gonna get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room.
And according to Terrence Howard, that's exactly what happened to a lot of so-called stars out here. They didn't fall off. They got pushed out for not playing the game. Katt Williams backed every word. He explained how he turned down $50 million 4 times just to keep his name clean. And when he joked that he was protecting his virgin hole, he wasn't just being funny, he was serious. Because according to him, most folks don't realize what they're agreeing to when they chase certain deals. Katt claims Diddy had been trying to get close to him for years, but he always shut it down, every time. Then the conversation circled back to a topic that's been whispered about in Hollywood for years, the dress agenda. The idea that black men are often pushed into feminine roles before reaching the top. And it's not just a theory. Katt, Terrence, and Dave Chappelle have all spoken on it, loudly and repeatedly. Terrence said that's the real reason he was pushed out of Iron Man 2. Not money, not attitude, he just didn't fit the mold. He wasn't willing to play a watered-down version of himself, and he sure wasn't putting on a dress. Katt had a similar story. He said Martin Lawrence tried to get him in a dress for Big Mama's House 2, but Katt wasn't with it. According to him, he told Martin straight, "I'm not the one you're looking for." So they went and cast Brandon T. Jackson instead. Katt said the roles were lined up, the checks were waiting, but he wasn't willing to cross that line. And then he called out Kevin Hart. Kevin once said he'd never wear a dress for a role, that he had boundaries he wouldn't cross. But next thing you know, he's on SNL doing just that. And shortly after, his career exploded.
The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavanjane Wallace.
Katt wasn't calling it a coincidence. He was calling it the game. You either dance with the system, or they lock you out. Plain and simple.
Well,
so, you know, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying, at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we had Big Mama's House 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment.
Even Dave Chappelle told that same story right to Oprah's face. He shared how they tried to get him in a dress too. And just like Katt and Terrence, he wasn't with it. We all remember what happened next. He walked away from a $50 million deal and disappeared to Africa. Not because he was crazy like the media claimed, but because he wasn't willing to play the game.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it.
And trust, the internet has plenty to say. Now everyone's crawling out the woodwork claiming, I never associated with Diddy. But come on, we all know Hollywood loved Diddy's parties. One comment hit hard, I hope the Epstein and Diddy list both drop, let the truth come out, and may every one of these evil people face justice. As we inch closer to Diddy's May 2025 trial, this whole situation, it's starting to feel like a countdown. So, what's your take on this wild unraveling? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching it unfold in real time. And if you're here for raw truth and bold takes, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that next video popping up on your screen right now. This ride, it's far from over.